Welcome to the Fearless Queens podcast for anyone looking to expand in abundance, success, and love every single day.
We are your hosts, Tina
and Sara,
two women on a mission to heal the world one person at a time. Hey everyone, welcome to the Fearless Queens podcast. I am super duper excited to talk about this topic because I feel like this has been my journey the past couple of years. And looking back, I think sometimes we might judge ourselves because we're not further along than we thought we would be. But then when you look back at the old you versus the new you, and when I say new, I just mean the current you is newer today than it was 3 weeks ago. Yeah, exactly, yesterday. And so we're going to kind of break this apart a little bit and just share with you guys our old me versus new me, because when we look at where we were and where we are, we can really appreciate the progress that we've accomplished. And instead of judging ourselves for not being a certain place, we can be like, whoa, at least I'm not there anymore.
Absolutely. Waking up being a better version of you every single day. That's the goal. So this is called Old Me versus New Me. And we're going to talk about dating, resting, and food. Those are our topics of discussion today.
Oh, I'm so excited. This is going to be amazing because I'm so excited just knowing that you could hear this podcast and you can start to make tiny little shifts in what we've shared with you. Even if you don't want to be on our journey or do what we've done, you can take little tidbits and start to shift your own life. And then you can look back 3 months from now, which will be 2023, and say, hey, what would old me in 2022 do versus what new me in 2023 does? So this topic is just so exciting because we're always changing. We're always growing if we choose to. And we're always evolving. We can always become better than we were yesterday or a year ago or 5 years ago. So
Taylor Swift, just as we're recording this, she just dropped out an album, and one of the best lines in her new album was, "You get to plan or you plan to fail." One of those lines, like, you plan, and if you don't have a plan, then you're failing.
Yeah.
I'm botching this.
No, I know what you're saying.
I gotta look
it up.
Legit.
So look it up while I'm talking. So the first one that we're gonna talk on, which is, I don't know, to me it's kind of exciting now. At the time when I went through these dating experiences, it wasn't fun. It was not fun. And it was like a lot of emotional roller coasters. But looking at Tina dating in, November, I'm not dating right now, but November of 2022 compared to, September of 2021, woo, dog, it is a very different picture.
I found it. It's from Mastermind, and it says, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So essentially, if you don't have a plan, then that's also a plan to fail. Like, you have no direction, you have nowhere, like, you're just aiming at nothing, basically.
Absolutely.
And if that's a choice, because doing nothing is a choice. So hopefully, what we're talking about, old me versus new me, you find a purpose, a direction, a target that you're aiming at. So then you can look back and be like, oh yeah, that's what I was going with all of this.
Well, yeah, and even with dating, like I said, you don't sit there and make a list of like, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this, and if he's not this, then whatever. It's more about like, what is your intention? What are your goals? What do you want, out of this, dating world, I guess. And for me, when I went into it, I was scared. I didn't want to date. I was scared, like, of the people. Are they being honest? Are they just saying things to make me, feel a certain way? And so, I don't know, for me, dating was scary.
Is this old you talking?
Well, I'm not dating right now, but I guess you could say, yes, that's old me talking. And so I went in it with...
So in the past, you were afraid, anxious.
Yes.
About dating.
Do you see that? How she kind of helped me change my wording a little bit? I love it. It's like you're my own private therapist. In the past, I was very scared of dating. And so I went into my most recent dating, whatever you want to call it, and I was scared. I didn't know how to act, how to be, how to do. And it created that environment. I got a message from my creator the day this man asked me out, and it was like, do not go. And then he kept asking, and he kept asking, and he kept asking, and he kept asking. And I was like, oh, he seems like a cool guy. He's hardworking. According to social media, he, has like a job and he's, is making a better life for himself. Maybe he's changed. Maybe he's different. When all along, I knew the message was don't go out with this person. So old me would not listen to that voice. New me is definitely going to listen to that voice that says, no, don't go out on a date with this person. It will not end well. And I will tell you what, it did not end well. So that voice, that like knowing is always there. So choose to listen to it or not. And either way, I'm glad I went through that journey because it's the last time. I am praying that I will ever go through something like that.
I love that.
But it's also too that relationship, whatever you want to call it wasn't very long, but those experiences were showing me what I don't want anymore.
Yes.
And it was almost like a growing and evolving through it.
Yes, everything's always happening for a purpose, for a reason. You can always, everybody that comes into your life is a learning lesson, regardless however long their season is in there. It could be a day, it could be an hour, it could be 7 years. You never know when the season may or not be up. Some people are worth a lifetime and some people are worth, the 20 minutes, you just pass by. It's just seasons of life and who's meant to be for the period of time and who's not. So...
And I knew going into it, looking back, I didn't know it at the time, but like looking back, I got these like little messages was like, this is going to be fun. It's going to be enjoyable. Like he's going to say what you want to hear because that's where you're at in life. And I will tell you, it is improved from each person that I've dated. So like now I get to the point where I immediately pray. Like if this is not for me, and I think you can agree, actually you've helped me with this. If this is not for me, make it clear. Because the morning that I was feeling really unsure about this person, and it was like little signs. And I was like, I feel like I'm not picking up on these cues. God, can you get, I literally said, can you give me one a little bit stronger? And he did. He showed up and he showed me that this person was a player. And I was like, okay, thanks for that. Even though it sucks, thanks for showing me that. I'm not going to ignore this ever again, I hope.
Yeah, so old you, from what I'm hearing, would have acted, reacted, have even been a different way maybe.
Forced it.
Yeah, where new you listened to that inner voice and realized that this was no longer the journey you need to be on.
Absolutely.
Like the season was over for that.
Yeah.
For me, my little dating old me versus new me, super kind of recent because I've never really dated. I've always just been in a long relationship. But God has showed me that like we're not going over that mountain again. I've gone over it too many times and like I finally am learning from that and I don't have to go around it again anymore. The first one was 9 years. The second one was a 7-year long lesson, and this last time it probably was like a week, which was great, progress. So old me, I went on a date with this guy and great conversation, showed up true and authentic, had never really been on a date before, so I didn't know what to expect, and all went well. And the next day, like we texted here and there, and then I just didn't hear from him. Totally fine, because we never know what somebody else is going through in their own shoes. And I know for certain, like, I'm going through so much that I truly, like, don't have time for another person right now. Like, I'm so focused on my own goals and dreams that I don't have time to put my energy into something that I can't be all in with.
Well, and it's not that you don't have time. It's you're being more...
I'm prioritizing me over anything. Like, it's God and me walking my life now rather than me trying to figure it out on my own. God's walking the path before me and I'm just being guided. So old me would have been so thrown off about like, why isn't this dude texting me? Like, what did I do wrong? Like, so in my head, so overthinking, like, I'm not good enough, am I not pretty enough? Like, all the things that us as women especially like to get down on ourselves about our looks and how we acted and maybe we didn't be a certain way. But honestly, like, I have so much, like, peace because I know, new me knows that whatever is meant for me is not going to pass me up. Like, that just either means that whoever, the date that I went on, either he's not for me and that God has somebody even better that I couldn't even fathom to be. I just can't even dream up of it yet. Or, what's meant for me is not going to pass me up. Like, the paths will cross again. Like, so much fear, doubt, anxiousness, and worry doesn't even live in my life anymore because new me doesn't allow it. As soon as a bad thought comes into my head, I try my absolute best to change it. I'm like, okay, not today. I literally throw the thought physically out of my head. Like, I'll even I'm physically taking my hand and throwing a fake thing across my shoulder, because sometimes it just takes that act of, okay, nope, not today. We're not thinking that today. This is not serving me, so I'm not doing that. Got to direct the course.
And so this is a really great analogy. So let's say you feel rejected, right? You didn't get that call back, you got ghosted, whatever it is. So put that rejection in your hand, throw it behind you, throw the rejection behind you, and fill it with protection.
Absolutely. Because whatever happened between that person and me, I might never know, but at least I have my own inner peace that whatever is happening, I'm being protected.
Yep. Rejection is protection. And also, let me ask you this. What can you think of anything good that came out of that week-long relationship?
Yeah, I just realizing that there are other people out there who have dreams, goals, and ambitions and are working on themselves, and that just I didn't know that other people were like that. I had never met a guy that had their own business. I was never been around somebody like that before, or I had never really been on a date with somebody that I didn't even know that didn't go to my high school. How sad is that? So old me was new me definitely got out of her comfort zone. Absolutely. Old me would have been oh, who was on the Portage baseball team that I could talk to? So 2012. But new me is no, we ain't even going back to the same town anymore. I tell Tina this all the time, that my person I feel isn't even in America. New me is way different than old me for the better.
Yeah, and actually, as much as it hurt that that happened, as much as it hurt that this person was seeing multiple women at the same time, another reason why you should not engage in activity with someone that you don't know. I didn't, but also the fact that I chose to engage and get to know this person showed me a side of a guy that I'd never seen. He was driven, even if it was kind of fake. He was a very much, what do you want to call, he was very romantic and sweet and made me feel the words he would say were very respectful, and he talked about goals and dreams. And even if it was a lie, and I'm not saying that it was, but I feel if there was one lie in the situation, there was probably plenty. However, I'm going to take that idea, the idea of there are good people in the world. There are dream getters. There are people who are raising my standard of how I am to be treated and how I am to be talked to and how I am to be loved. Again, even though it wasn't real, it still showed me what's out there. And I'm so grateful for that.
Yes, absolutely. Everybody is a lesson, no matter if you're dating somebody, go on a date, have a conversation with somebody on the street. You can always learn something from the situation that you're placed in. Oftentimes, I think when, especially women, go on dates, there's so much pressure in oh, is he going to be my husband? Is he going to be that one, the one? Are we having babies and getting married tomorrow? Is that person it? And it's whoa, let's pump the brakes. Old me, and I hope to God, all the people listening, can say, in the past, that's how we thought of things. But now, we're just going in to see what I'm going to learn about myself and what I'm going to learn about this human being in front of me.
Be present.
Absolutely.
In the past, it would have been rush, want to know the future, want to know what's going to happen, want to know how long, want to know this. Is he married? Is he going to have babies? Does he want to have babies with me? Instead of all of that, just be present.
Yeah, new me is okay, I'm showing up as my true authentic self and let the conversation flow, and whatever happens happens, because it's always happening for us and not to us. And sometimes rejection is protection, and we might never know why we're being protected over what, but that's the beauty of life.
Yeah, because nothing that's for you will pass you by. It just will not. And the sooner that I can be at peace with that, the sooner new me can just flow better.
Absolutely.
Hey guys, Tina here. I am super excited to share something with you that has been incredibly beneficial to my day. It has helped with so many things, from my mood, my energy, my sleep, my skin, my focus, all the things, and it's super clean, which is very, very important to me. If you want more information, I would love to share it with you. Send me a message on my Instagram. My handle is Tina M. Kafka, or there is a link in my bio. I'm super excited. I want to hear from you. I want to build a relationship and help you to create the best life that you want, meant for you. Bye, guys.
So let's go to our next topic of resting. Old me versus new me in the resting phase of life. This has been a struggle.
Currently
In the past, but new me is learning what rest even is. Holy cow. I thought rest was just taking a nap or getting more hours of sleep. I'm such a doer. I tend to be a perfectionist, which I'm very much working on, putting a lot of pressure on myself to be. In the past, that's what I would do. But new me is learning that rest comes from taking a walk outside, breathing, meditating, doing something that I like to do but don't feel like I have to be doing it. Because sometimes mindless things like laundry or reading, that seems like I'm doing stuff, but it's just an act of, okay, I'm resting in this. Not everybody's rest is sleeping or sitting. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that we probably, a lot of us that are working towards achieving goals and always feel that there's more for us. I think this makes a little bit more sense, and that's good to have goals and to want to accomplish things. But this is also looking back at old you versus new you. Resting can be just sitting in gratitude for all of your daily experiences, your weekly experiences, just sitting in gratitude and prayer and being grateful that, again, whatever is for you will not pass you by. And the more that you try to do and stay busy, the less you're going to see what's right in front of you.
Yeah, I am learning what that looks like from a place of rest now. Trying not to be so much of a doer and enjoying the stuff that I am doing, because especially when I took on the journey of entrepreneurship last year, I always felt that, well, if I'm not working on this, then I'm not doing enough. I'm not being enough. I'm not utilizing my day. And I will just find myself so much in my head of thinking of all the things that I should be doing, but I'm just not doing anything because I'm so consumed about the thoughts of what I should be doing and I'm not doing it. It's like a inner battle that I have to turn off and learn that those thoughts don't serve me. Being consumed in my head thinking about all these things, it's not for my greater good. It's just I'm going around and around in circles. Feeling guilty that I'm not doing all the things I should or feel that I need to be doing. But one human being, you can't do all of these things in one day.
No, you cannot. And there are times old me would have been like, I gotta be busy, I gotta go run here, I gotta go run there. And then at the end of the day, you're like, I feel like I have accomplished nothing. And new me will sit in the silence. Yesterday, I sat on my couch and it was the most uncomfortable thing to sit and do nothing. But I needed to do it because I had been going. And a few nights prior to that, I fell asleep crying because I thought to myself, oh my gosh, I have so much left to do. I'm finally realizing my purpose. And what if I die in my sleep?
It's a bit morbid, but okay.
But I was freaking out, right? And so I was sitting and doing nothing, which is crazy because I'm always doing. And so I sat there, and it was in that silence that I heard answers of what I needed to do. But if I would have never sat down in the uncomfortable, like, what do you have for me? Then I wouldn't have heard these answers, which just seems insane to me.
We're constantly like, there's always something to be turned on. You can always have something in the background. You can always be filling your mind with something. So to be able to unplug and sit and do nothing and be nothing and just be, that's such a gift to give yourself. And I highly recommend just take 10 minutes out of your day to just sit still and be. Lay down and just be.
Something a friend said to me, and I just think this is so powerful in the state of always, we can never do enough, the overworked, burnt out, and we're just going, and there's this competition to do more than the next person. And he said this to me, and I was like, whoa, mic drop. He said, you are immortal until God's work for you is done. Have faith in that. And I was like, oh my gosh. So even if I did die in my sleep, it would be okay because it was my time. Yeah. And I'll even take it one step further of being at peace with that statement. Also, I lost my brother and I'm like, well, his time wasn't up yet. He was only 38 years old. That's a BS statement. But yes, his time was up. And now it's my duty, I guess you could say, my honor to make sure that his life lives on. So yes, maybe his earthly life is done, but his mission runs through me. Commission, right? So I just thought that was such a powerful statement. Like, you will never run out of time.
No, and I loved how we talked about comparison a little bit in the last episode, and now we brought it up here. I read something the other day, and it's like, a flower is not concerned about the next flower blooming. The flower just blooms when it's supposed to. And I feel like if we looked at life that way, rather than all of us competing against one another, like, we're all different shapes, sizes, forms. Like, we're all different flowers. Like, God created us to be different. We all bring something else to the table. Like, flowers smell different. Like, they look different. They are different. Whatever. Just like human beings, like, just because you're not a rose doesn't mean that your daisy isn't going to be great, just like the rose. Like,
yeah, absolutely. And, another thing that was said was, quit future tripping and just walk through the doors that God has opened for you today. And I love that because so often we're like, we think we know everything and we have to know everything and everything has to be clear.
That's old.
I was just going to say, that's old me. Like, quit future tripping and just be in the moment.
New me, the only thing I do know is I know nothing. Literally. New me knows I don't know anything.
And to just sit in the stillness. Sit in the stillness when you're unsure about dating. Sit in the stillness when you're unsure about resting. Just old me would have been anxious. And there are still times I'm anxious. Open Bible. Read. There's lots of... 1 Peter. Read the entire book. It's the shortest book, I think. And it's so many things about just stillness.
I love striking up a good conversation with someone about their clothing style. That's why Versed is so unique. Their clothing and lifestyle brand sparks up conversations that shed light to our community wherever you are by being the salt and light. Get 15% off with our coupon, capital Fearless Queens. Again, that is capital Fearless Queens. Head to the link in our show notes or on the socials to get your Versed apparel today.
Those are the first two. And then the last one is food.
Yeah.
Old me versus new me.
Yeah, old me, I do not like to cook. I don't like to go to the grocery store. Old me would have been like, okay, what's for dinner? We're going to KFC tonight.
DoorDash.
Yeah. New me is like, all right, I'm going to go to the grocery store and I'm going to get the fruit and the veggies and the fish and the chicken and whatever. And
the meat.
Yes. And cook myself and make myself the healthy, more beneficial food for myself because I'm worthy of it. Like, new me needs the fuel to be able to function in this life versus old me would have been like, what's the easiest, quickest thing I can do right this second to fulfill the need of hunger?
Yeah, absolutely. Old me, I love this one. This is probably my favorite one because this is so simple. I feel like to just shift your thinking, and then when you go to the store, when you open your fridge, when you open your cabinet, old me would have like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what I'm going to eat. And then I ended up getting something last minute that's not healthy, that's not serving, that's a waste of money. New me is working to prepare, having a fridge filled with food that's serving my body. Maybe you don't like fruits and vegetables. I know there's people in the world that don't like fruits and vegetables. Well, here's the thing. Old me understands if I don't eat fruits and vegetables, I will not be nourished. New me finds a new joy and passion for fruits and vegetables. Yes, believe it or not, I love fruits, not a super huge fan of vegetables. Like, I just am not. However, new me understands that every once in a while it's going to help nourish my body. Old me knows that, even though I'm at a party and I see, flavored popcorns and chocolate and Reese's and, all the candy sitting in the bowl, old me would just attack it and just eat it without even thinking. Like, it just starts, I open it and all of a sudden I have 4 gone. And new me is like, is this really serving my body? How does this feel in my tummy? Like, how does this feel when it hits my, really after the second bite, try this. After the second bite of anything that's sugary or good in our minds, after the second bite, we're just literally devouring it. We're not even enjoying it anymore. That's old me. New me will have that 1 piece of candy or 2 pieces of candy. My limit is 2. But by the time I get done with the second one and I stop and I think about it, I'm like, that's probably more than enough. I probably could have had 1 and felt the same way.
That's good. That's really good. Yeah, old me would have been like, yeah, Ben & Jerry's is on sale. I'm getting 2 of them. And then I would have ate them all in one entire sitting because it's all the chocolate I can get. And it's breakfast, lunch, and dinner because I didn't provide anything for me other than Ben & Jerry's in the fridge. So new me goes to the store and I get myself the fruit that I am now love. What Tina and I have done is just eat fruit until noon. And let me tell you, that's been a game changer for me.
Whoa. Mentally
and physically. Just knowing that I always have something to be, it's like the morning, okay, I wake up and I get my fruit bowl. That's what I do. And then I'm full until it's time for me to eat again, at lunch or dinner.
Sometimes when I do only fruit before noon, believe it or not, fruit is actually pretty filling.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I'll only have 1 meal then.
Same.
1 meal after that. And I try to be smart about that meal if I'm only getting 1 meal other than fruit. But yeah, I love the fruit in the morning. I tried it for a week and it just seems to keep going and it feels amazing.
Yeah.
And it's light and you don't feel weighted down and you don't get that 2:00 slump.
Agree. Totally. That's why I love doing it. But old me didn't even take the time to cut up my vegetables. Tina cut up a grape for me, and I'm like, I've never had somebody cut up a grape for me. I've only ever just eaten them whole. So now I take the time because I'm worthy of cutting my own dang grape and putting it in the bowl, and I'm just...
New me knows how amazing I am and how worthy I am of cut up grapes.
Preach! Yes! New me! New me is thriving, and new me is grateful for old me because I couldn't be new me without the old me.
Oh, girl, I love that.
So give yourself some grace.
Yep.
Give yourself some love. Thank yourself for all the lessons that you've learned because they all happen for you, not to you. I'm telling you this because we've both gone through some incredible crap.
So I would love for you guys to make an old me versus new me list because your list is going to look different. Mine is different than Sarah's. Sarah's is going to be different than yours. And, my mom's is going to be different than mine. But I promise you, if I would have a conversation with my mom about old mom, new mom, hers would be drastically different as well and progress. So this isn't a comparison. This isn't a shaming. Don't look at yourself like, oh, I wish I had more, or I wish I was more like this person.
Let's thank yourself. Thank yourself for the new you that showed up today to even listen to this, to even want to become better, because new you happens again tomorrow. Every single day we wake up, if we are, we have the ability, if God gives us the next day, that we're able to be a whole new person. My only goal in life is to be a better person than I was the day before, because I'm never competing or trying to be anybody else other than myself. And if I can be a better person than I was the day before, then I'm always moving in the right direction.
Absolutely. And you know what? I feel like I need to say that not every day is like a podcast day.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Not every day is great and wonderful, but that's why we're here doing this. That's why we found something to share with the world, because when we know that this is impacting somebody and helping them, then it helps us feel that we can keep going, and that like old us would have been like, we're not worthy of creating a podcast. We're going to put it off and put it off and put it off and put it off and put it off. New us is like, wait a second. We have people who need to feel better, who want better for themselves. So you doing this old me versus new me list and sharing it with us is showing us that, holy crap, like I have the courage, you have the courage. We can have courage together and imagine the world that can be created in that.
Yeah. Imagine, everybody is just showing up as their true, authentic self in the new version of them that they're creating, because they're aware that they can become better.
And you're creating it. You're the only one that can create your world, and that's the beauty of it. Absolutely. It's you versus you.
Yes, you versus you, and only that. So praying that the new you is the best version that you could even imagine, and I can't wait to encounter the newest version of you, as you will with us.
And it is the best version because you are creating it, and you are the one in charge of your life. And I'm just so excited. I love this topic. I hope you guys loved it as much, and I hope that you're able to take it and use these nuggets and share them with the world.
Yeah.
And you never know who you could be helping in doing your old me versus new me. I promise you there's people on here who are listening that are going to do this action, and they're going to touch people we will never know.
Yeah.
You are going to touch people that I have never met.
We started this because of all the struggles and the hurts and the setbacks that we've had in our own lives, and we share them on here so that, one, you don't have to go through them, I hope, or that us shining a light through all these struggles helps you understand that you're not alone.
And to look for the good.
Yes.
Look for the good.
Yeah. And that new you is worthy of finding the path to figure out who that looks like.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for watching.
Yes, thank you guys.
Listening. Have a great day.